Hi there, this is West Coast Mom, and this is a video all about bobbins. So I am working on a C2C or corner to corner grafgan by the Crochet Couch. This one happens to be a cute Westie grafgan. Here's a larger picture. This is in black and white. The afghan is actually about the size of me, so it's quite a fair size. And there's different color changes. I'm doing the background in this wheat color by Red Heart Soft. The Westie itself is in white with little bits of gray with a black outline. So even though there's only 3 colors, there's still a lot of color changes. Oh, there's pink in the ears and the tongue as well. So what I really like about these patterns is that it comes not only with the graph, and it comes with different parts of the graph so that you can print out and glue it together. But it also comes with these great word charts. So instead of going through and counting row by row how many of each color, the counting has been done for you, and she set it up very nicely on this sort of Excel spreadsheet, and it's even color coded. Her background in the original is red, that's why it looks like it's red here. I'm doing mine in brown because of course you can do yours in any color. Alright, so at first I started out doing all my color changes using entire skeins of yarn and toilet paper rolls or pieces of cardboard with the yarn wrapped around. And it worked. And then I got to the point where I had about 10 bobbins going, and it would get into quite the tangled mess all the time. So then I've seen a lot of talk about using these clothespin clips. So I went to the dollar store and I found these clips. These are the largest heavy-duty clothespins I could find at the dollar store. They're in the laundry section. It's a little bit deceiving, even though it's at the dollar store. This is $1.50. And there are 10 in here. Alright, and I bought a couple of packages. And so when you open them up, this is what they look like. They're this type of clip. And the concept of using these is that you wind it around, and when you're not using them, it clips to the actual work, and therefore it does not get in this tangled mess. Because I will tell you that when I had skeins and cardboard tubes and toilet paper rolls going, and I had 10, it was a big hot tangled mess, and every time I tried to pull out the work to work on it, I had spent some time untangling it. But this, I will tell you, works very nicely because everything's clipped and it's out of the way, and you can fold up everything, and it's neatly goes away. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to transfer this, what I had on this cardboard, toilet paper rolls work as well. I was trying to be cheap, but I realized this is really the way to go, so I went and I splurged the $1.50. But I bought 2 or 3 packages. So anyways, I'm going to transfer this onto the bobbin. Right, so here's the end, and I'm going to pull that out. So on this particular bobbin, there is what I call like a neck here, and then there's the body. You don't want to go over the head part here because that's the part that opens. If you wind your yarn around that part, you won't be able to open it. I learned that the hard way. You don't want to do that. So you start lower down around the neck, and you get it started there. I'm going to pull this off now that I have the end, because if you don't know where the end is, this can be a tangled mess. Alright, so I'm going to start down there and start winding, and the point is that you can still open the clip, because that's the point, that you can clip attach to your work. Alright, so careful, it likes to ride up, and so I'm going to wind around, and it's going down the body here, and that's okay. Every once in a while it's just good to check that you can still open the clip, because that makes it handy. I bought the largest clips I could find because I figured that it would hold the most yarn, because I used to wonder, how much yarn do you wind? And to be honest, I don't think anybody really knows. I suppose there's a way of, if you analyze the pattern, you can figure out. So you just basically wind as much as you can on here, and then you just, when you run out, you just have to join. Alright, so I'm done here, and this just gets clipped on. Now, I did try with my background color to be kind of cheap and wind as much yarn as possible, because I thought this would be easier than having to start a new one and join all the time. But I will say that you have to be careful. If you overwind, it kind of gets a little messy because it kind of falls off here and there, right? But I'm kind of making it work. It's not as neat and tidy as, you know, some of the smaller ones that I have. All right. Now, one thing I have noticed that when you work the graph, because color changes all the time, you may get this all set up nice and ready, but then, you know, suddenly you drop a color, and then suddenly you need to add a color. So that's why it's always good to have extra clips on hand, which is why I bought this. Now, how many clips do you need? Because like I said, sometimes you're going along and you're like, oh, I'm not really using this color here anymore. So you cut an end off, like I have here. Later on I'll weave this in because I'm not using gray here anymore, so I cut that. And I keep the gray clip handy because you know, probably later on I'll need it again. But these come in packages of 10. I originally bought one package thinking, well, I had 10 bobbins, that's all I need. Little did I know and realize that it changes as you go along, and so I have to add more. So, how do you figure out how many bobbins do you need? Now, the great thing about these word charts, where everything's written out for you, that's how you figure out how many bobbins you are. You find the longest line. And for me, it's around here because we're on her Excel spreadsheet, it goes 2 lines. And if I count, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 20 different color changes. And because they're all listed there, so that's how I know that eventually at some point I'm going to need 20 different bobbins, right? So I knew I needed at least 2 packages because that would be full. I bought 3 packages. I originally bought 1, but then I bought 2 more earlier today just to be on the safe side. All right, so that's what I did. I transferred. Now, from the get-go, if you're going to use these bobbins, you just take your skein and you just start winding until they're fairly full, and off you go. Right? So, but I had already started thinking I could avoid that, but little did I know that this just got too complicated, and so I transferred things over. All right. Next, I'm going to show you another project where I've used skeins, and I'm going to transfer that to bobbins, and you'll see what that one looks like. All right. Okay, we're back. So this is a different sort of graph that I'm working on. This is based on another Westie that I have, just a graph that I found off of Pinterest. And for this one, I'm using bobble stitch for the graph. So I'm just going back and forth, not corner to corner like the other one. And this one is small because I'm making this for a cover for a pillow on my sofa. So these bobbins work for this too. Now this seems to be somewhat simpler in that there's fewer color changes. There's the background, which I have 2 skeins here. I've got white for the main part of the animal and then black kind of going around the outline. So I've decided to use bobbins for the black because there isn't that much. So I've done one on this side and I'm going to do one on this side. And my hope is that with only 3 skeins, it will be not quite a tangled mess. Alright, so I have unwound a bunch of black yarn here, and it is Red Heart Soft. Cut the end here, move that out of the way. I'm going to get one of my bobbin clips again. Alright, make sure it opens. Oh, that one just broke. That's what you get for the dollar store, I guess. Alright, so here's one. Another one. I'm going to start winding around. Remember, keep it low on the neck so that you can still open. It likes to slide up, so just be careful of that. You can also keep your fingers here so it doesn't slide down there. And I'm going to wind this one up as I go around. And then this will give me a little bit of black for this. Again, I didn't really know how much to pull out. I don't know if there's really a way of judging. I think everything is just a best guess about how much you're going to use or need. And so there you go. So this one is black and it goes on here, and this will clip and get out of the way. Now, I had pulled that from the skein because I had already started. Now, later on I am going to need some pink for the tongue and the ears, so let's get that bobbin ready. And then I have a little tray here that I keep my bobbins in. So because I know this is coming, I can get another bobbin ready, and then that way when I get to that point, it is ready to go. And because I don't need very much. My reasoning for keeping the skeins is that I need a fair amount, and so really I'm just too lazy to make bobbins for them because then I'll have to tie, and I'm just hoping that I can just get away with it. The bobbins are great for when you just need a little bit, just a small amount, because otherwise the large skein just gets in the way. But this way, you have a little bit, it's there, it clips on, and it's fine. So I'm gonna make this pink one. And so I haven't even started yet using it, so I've just wound it right from the very beginning. And I'm just gonna wind it around until I feel that it's enough. And like I said, who knows? I just pull this out. So I have this amount, and then this will be used later on. Now, could I use bobbins for everything? Sure, I could, right? But like I said, this is a small project, and I'm hoping I can just get away with it like that. Okay, so there's a bunch of pink. I'm gonna cut that off. And then I have this pink. With this end that I'm gonna use, I like to clip it right in there, so that way I can find the end easily and it's good to go. So I will use that later. How many bobbins am I going to need? Now, just like the last C2C graph that I did, what you do is you find the longest line with the most color changes. So you find basically the most complicated line. Like around here with the eyes and stuff, that looks fairly complicated and you could count. Now, so that would be the most in terms of bobbins that I would need. I don't know at this point if I want to do that. Some people like to prepare their bobbins in advance, but I'd like to sort of wait and see. So, but if I wanted to know how many clips that I'm going to need, that's how I would figure that out. All right, so now that these are done, so what I like about this is that with the bobbins, they don't move, and I can wrap up everything and roll it up, and there is my project and everything is good. So that is that one. Now this was my C2C. Check this out here. So what I have is, I've wrapped everything within, and even though this has quite a few bobbins, when I unfold it, let's see which way did it go? It goes this way. Everything is intact, and it's not a big tangled mess, and I am good to go. Before I used to spend a few minutes untangling everything, getting it all laid out, but everything is, because it's clipped, is all nice, and it's good to go. All right, so that is how bobbins are set up. That is how we figured out how many, that's how we wind them, so it's all about bobbins. The next video I'm going to make will be actually crocheting using these bobbins, and you'll see how I work with it and what we do with them. All right, thank you very much. See you in the next video.